This episode of Heavy Cardboard is brought to you from the great folks over at GameSurplus.com, bringing the world of board games to you. Now, on to the show. Heavy Cardboard, episode 110, HeavyCon recap. Coming to you from HeavyCon, welcome to Heavy Cardboard, where we talk medium and heavy strategy board games, war games, 18xx, and about our convention. And that's what we're doing today. We're your hosts. I'm Edward.
And I'm Amanda.
So HeavyCon, day 4, we are here.
We are here. We are surrounded by people that are still here on a Sunday.
Right. It's currently about 2:30 in the afternoon, and we're recording in the main room here. So I'm looking around. There's about a dozen games still going on.
Yep.
Plus there's games out there in the breakout rooms. But so HeavyCon. We figure, why don't we talk about it a little bit? But instead of hearing all about it all from us, why don't we have folks talk to y'all about it and give y'all their impression, because obviously we're going to be biased, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, how could we not? This is our convention. I mean, it's year 4. The first year was at our house. The second year was at a smaller hotel. The last 2 years have been here at the Radisson, and it is just gradually getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but we feel like perhaps we have reached maximum capacity.
Yeah, I think so. We do a survey at the end of HeavyCon every year to discuss with the attendees what they thought, their feedback, positive, negative, the whole 9 yards, and what do they want for the future of the con. Do they want it to grow? Do they want it to stay static? It's not going to shrink.
Right.
And the wait list is pretty extensive right now. So the question is, do we want it to get bigger? Ultimately, that's going to fall into the attendees to decide that, I would think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but if this year felt really good. So for those that aren't familiar, HeavyCon is a invitation-only convention held Denver, Colorado over Memorial Day weekend, which is usually the last weekend in May. And it starts on Thursday at 8 a.m., runs until about 3 a.m. or so each night.
Yes.
Opens again at 8, and then tonight at midnight it shuts down for another year. And the reason it's invite only, for those that don't know, is first off, I don't like not knowing how many people to expect, because I saw firsthand, we might have 200 people, we might have 1,500 people, and how do you even gauge that? That seems just chaotic and way too stressful to me.
Yes, that does not sound like fun at all.
That's number one. Number 2, we want a curated community in a sense that, so there are 3 rules to get a potentially get an invitation to HeavyCon. Number 1 is you got to go to heavycardboard.com/HeavyCon. Sign up. Get on the interest list. So that's number 1. Number 2, interact with us in some form or fashion so we get a feel for what kind of person you are. Now, could people front for the whole year, et cetera, et cetera? Sure. But if so, then it's a one-time invite, right?
Exactly.
And the third one is don't be a dick.
Yep.
It's that simple. Be someone pleasant to be around and someone pleasant to game with.
That's all we ask, literally.
That's it. And then it's a numbers game.
Yep.
And that's it. And the main reason that we keep it invite only is to control the numbers and to keep the intimate feel that HeavyCon has.
Yes, which is, everybody has been saying how awesome it is to just, you can get a game just about any time. A lot of people have said that it feels like just you're coming to family. You're coming to like a family reunion or whatever.
They just happen to all really enjoy heavier games.
Yes, exactly.
The first year of HeavyCon, we had 18 folks over at the house.
That's right.
And I did it as a lark almost. Somebody was like, you should start a convention. I was like, yeah, I should.
And oh, look what happened.
Right. And then year 2, we moved to a hotel down the street from our house. We had 44 attendees that year. That was the year we tried to kill Splatter.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Number 3, or year 3, was at the hotel that it is right now, which is at the Radisson down in South Denver. And last year we had 94 attendees. And the two biggest complaints that I have heard in years past, in all seriousness, was, especially in year 2, a little bit less so in year 3, was being able to get games, having enough people free when your game ends to be able to start another game with different folks.
Yeah.
Because the timing of some of these bigger games can be longer. I mean, it's just they're longer games a lot of the time. So that was complaint number 1. Complaint number 2 was lack of coffee last year.
Yes.
We've had cater coffee all day, each day. It's been pretty good.
It has.
So we've addressed all those concerns. So this year, I would say it's felt the most smooth of all of them.
On our part.
Yeah, and the most relaxed.
Yes.
That we have the main room, which I believe we have 24 tables in the main room. And then we have 3 smaller rooms with 6 tables each for a total of about 42 tables, which felt like the right number.
Yeah, it's a good number. It's
right.
the answer to everything.
Right, life, the universe, and everything.
Correct.
Right. So, yeah, overall, it's been really good. So attendees got here. They sign in on our little registration book so we can have it for each year.
Which we've had since the first HeavyCon.
Right.
Everybody signs
so we
it
have
every
this
year.
registration book, which is pretty cool. Then they get their this year, the big giveaway, if you will, that we've done some sort of glassware or drinkware each year. We've done pint glasses. We've done a couple coffee cups. This year we did a Glencairn glass, which if you're not familiar with it, if you Google Glencairn whiskey glass, we got those.
Yes.
And we got them from Glencairn. We got it
etched.
Or with the I don't know if it's screen print or etched or whatever.
No, it's etched, yeah.
With HeavyCon 4, plan better, play better.
Yes.
And that was the big one. Then they had their swag bags, which are HeavyCon bags, and they have different little goodies in those. And they have their swag giveaways, which are their game giveaways, that there are a ton of different sponsors that took the time and expense to go ahead and send us giveaways so everybody could have something. And how we do that is you make out little voucher slips.
I do. So each voucher has a picture of the game. It also has the player count, the run time, and the BGG rating and the weight rating.
The weight rating, right.
So that people can, at a glance, see, oh, this is a solo game. Oh, I never play solo games. So let me trade it up to someone, for someone else.
And because they get their swag bags at 8 a.m. when they first come in on Thursday, after the catered dinner, which we'll talk about here in a minute, on Friday, we then do all the giveaways. So you have between 8 a.m. on Thursday and after dinner Friday to trade your swag. You don't you're not a Scotch or whiskey drinker, you don't care about your Glencairn glass, use that as trade bait as well. And we found that it helps kind of break the ice and
absolutely
helps get people familiar with one another and willing to just sit and be like, hey, we have a couple of whiteboards that people are like, hey, so, I have this, looking for anything or looking for something else or something like that, et cetera, et cetera. And we found that it works really well.
Yeah, it does.
So that's what we did for giveaways. Plus, we have the HeavyCon T-shirts, which are the same Tri-Blend T-shirts that we have for our show shirts, but also now with the HeavyCon design.
Yes.
And then on Friday, we have the catered dinner, which this has been a thing since the very first HeavyCon. The first 2 years I cooked for it. It's gotten to the point now to where it's a little bit too big for me to be. I don't have a professional kitchen, and I don't have the time.
Right.
So the first year I cooked, we did some barbecue. The second year we did barbecue at the hotel. They have a bunch of grills out there. And then year 3 and 4, we've done the catered dinner here at the hotel. And this was something that was really cool. So at 6 o'clock, everybody stops what they're doing. Stops their game, leaves their game, and everybody goes into one big, giant banquet room, and we all eat together.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice.
One big happy family type thing.
Yep.
Hanging out, sitting with on 10-person tables, enjoying yourselves, getting to meet people that maybe you haven't met yet, and scheduling games. Hey, after dinner, you want to go do this or whatever.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. I sat next to Kleiker, and we didn't even talk about games at all. We were playing some trivia game on our phone. That's what we did, the whole game, the whole dinner. It's just, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to break away from your game and then go and talk about games. You're just hanging out with your friends.
Yep.
Is really all you're doing.
Pretty much. And then after that, we did the People's Choice Golden Elephant Award, which if you have not heard, congratulations to Vital Lacerda and Eagle Griffin Games for the 2017 People's Choice Golden Elephant Award. For the voting is all 694 of our patrons at the time, as well as all the attendees here at HeavyCon, the 156 of them.
Yes.
And they voted here locally. I thought it was interesting because all the attendees, there were 83 votes for Lisboa, 83 votes for John Company.
It's very interesting.
However, the online voting swayed it.
It's
and
overwhelming,
Lisboa won that. And then we followed up on the heels of that with the actual Golden Elephant Award announcement.
Which, again, was Vital Lacerda's Lisboa. We presented it to a representative from Eagle Griffin who just happened to be at HeavyCon, and he had it for a couple of days and then returned it this morning because he was afraid he was going to drop it or lose it.
Well, not just that, but we have to give it to Vital when we see him at Essen later on this year.
Yes, we do.
So looking forward to that. So congrats, Vital, on a great game. It was pretty funny when we were making the announcement. Cole Worley was sitting directly to my right.
Yeah, that was awkward.
And looking over at him, I was like, it was close, man. It was close. And he just smiled and was very gracious.
Yes.
No, that was a lot of fun. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
really
after that, everybody piled back into the main gaming room, and we got to play either Santa Claus or Oprah, depending on your point of view, right? You get a game. You get a game.
Yeah.
Everybody hands in their vouchers, and we had about 8 volunteers back there helping us. Here, I need blocks in Africa.
Yeah.
I need Lignum.
Yeah.
I need Three Kingdoms. I need Arkwright. I need Essen. I need all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was a lot faster because I think last year we did it just us, and that took forever.
Yeah,
so we made sure we had a lot
good.
of people this year
right,
doing it.
and this way we could get everybody back to the tables, back to their games, and having a good time.
Yeah.
And then after that, on Saturday night, we had asked if folks were interested because last year we did a impromptu trip to Korean barbecue joint here in town.
We did.
And we had about, 18 people or so last year.
Yeah.
And this year we actually scheduled it. We said, hey, 7 p.m. on Saturday, if anybody wants to come, why don't you RSVP? And we ended up having about 32, 33 people come to dinner with us.
Nice. Yeah, it was fun.
And that was a really good time. Some folks that had never had Korean barbecue before, others that have it every week.
Right. And there was the gentleman that I was sitting next to. He loves that kind of food, but his family doesn't like anything that's outside any kind of box whatsoever. So he was very excited to be able to eat as much kimchi as he wanted and not have to listen to his wife complain about having to eat kimchi.
That's pretty funny.
Yep.
But no, that went really well. And then there was a whole lot of, well, I say then, but every night there's been copious, I think is a good way to put it, right? Copious amounts of scotch, various other types of whiskey, and a fair bit of beer getting drank. I'm sitting here watching this. There's plenty of water out here. There's coffee, but then people bring some spirits and enjoy themselves responsibly.
They do. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. That's the best part of conventions to me is the late night sitting around talking and drinking and playing dexterity games badly. That's the best part.
Or just sitting around drinking, having a good time with friends and chilling out, right?
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
So, yeah. So that's pretty much HeavyCon for us. Now, tonight at midnight, we shut it down. We break everything down. We have a bunch of locals that are willing to help us mule stuff back to HCHQ. And then go home Monday morning, do a lot of laundry.
Yes.
Pack and get ready to leave for the big trip on Tuesday.
That's right. It's coming up so fast. Like all of this happened so quickly. It's crazy.
The funny thing to me is we spend so many months getting ready for HeavyCon. And blink, and oh wow, it's Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's already over.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Like it was just Wednesday. What happened? I don't understand.
Case in point.
Exactly.
Exactly, fellas. Thank you. So instead of hearing about the rest of HeavyCon from us, we thought, you know what? We're going to get a bunch of folks to take a couple minutes out of their time that are willing and talk to you all about it.
Yeah.
And just speak their thoughts about what HeavyCon was like and what they enjoyed, maybe even what they didn't enjoy or what they missed or anything like that. So that said, let's turn it over to all them, shall we?
Yes.
Cool. Hey, Patrick, how you doing today, man?
I'm great, Edward. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell folks a little bit about you and what HeavyCon has been like for you so far?
Sure. My name's Patrick McGavisk. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, and part of the Green Spielers gaming group.
Nice shout out. Yes.
You like that?
All right. Well done.
Well, it's been a great time. I mean, we did have a little mishap at the beginning by losing our luggage.
Well, you didn't lose it. The airline lost it, right?
Right. The airport lost it, and but that's okay. Everything has been like great karma since then. We've gotten some awesome rides from people to go buy clothes. Your local guys have been just amazing to us. One of them gave us a suitcase to get back home. And we actually, in our ditty bags, we got the two games we wanted the most, Pixie Queen and Wildcatters.
Oh, for the giveaways, you mean?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Good stuff. So this is y'all's first year.
Yep.
You and your wife, Angela, right?
That's correct.
So, yeah, what was it I'm always curious what folks expect, having come into it somewhat blind in the sense that y'all haven't been here. So I'm curious what you expected and how it ended up.
So, I just expected to be a bunch of people that want to get around and play, a lot of the real heavier games because it's called HeavyCon, obviously.
Right, well, right, sure, fair enough.
It's a good chance for me to play all the games that I really like rather than having to, deal with my group, which they're great. But, there's some times where we have to kind of go.
Massage.
Yes. Yeah. You end up, playing things that, they want to play as opposed to things you want to play, but that's okay. I mean,
well, it's a give and take, right? That seems reasonable.
And I like a lot of the other games too. So.
Well, that works out. But here, there's a lot less of that. It's just, I had mentioned earlier that I've seen a lot of people that like, hey, you want to play a game? Yeah. And, doesn't matter what the game is, doesn't matter the length of the game, let's just go play it, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of chances to play some new games that I hadn't had a chance to play before and learn some things. I didn't get a chance to learn 1822, but, hey.
There's always next year.
Well, and that would have been all day, too.
Yeah, right, for sure. So what have you played? What have you enjoyed? What was surprises?
Well, Wildcatters was amazing. I just dug that. We've already played it twice now. I won the first game, but I have no clue how I did it.
And what about the second game? I noticed you only talked about the first game there.
I got second in the second game. So,
all right,
or tied for second.
Okay, that's legit. That's good. So what else? What else have you enjoyed about the con, or not enjoyed, or whatever?
There was nothing I didn't enjoy. We go to a couple of these things, and I think this is great because we got out and did things other than just gaming, right? I mean, it's great to game with people, but I always say that with our gaming group, I wish we could do more things outside of gaming with them. So, going to the Korean barbecue was amazingly good. And I guess that was about all we did outside. Was there something else?
Well, there's that, and we had the catered dinner, but that's outside the gaming tables, but it's still here at the hotel, right?
And that was an amazing spread, dude. I mean, yeah.
It turned out pretty good. I was nervous how it was going to turn out, but overall I'd say, yeah, it didn't suck. So I'm happy with that.
The other thing that was really cool is we found out one of our good friends lived here. We didn't know it, and so she came by and visited us for a couple hours. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's good stuff, man. All right. So what would you say, other than what has been the best thing? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. What was the best thing about HeavyCon for you?
Just hanging out with a bunch of people that like the same games I like and want to play things, and how willing people are to teach, and not even worry about I don't know, I don't really feel like teaching. I know you've been to WBC, and
yep.
Sometimes people put one of those cones up there to say they want players, but they aren't willing to teach. And I get that when the game's really, really tough, but sometimes you'd like to have some guys that would teach that game.
And no problems here with
no
that, huh?
Problem.
That's
None
awesome,
whatsoever.
man. That makes me happy to hear. That really, really makes me happy to hear. Cool, man. Well, I know you're in the middle of a game. Thanks for taking the time. I'll let you run.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right. Tell folks who you are.
I'm Callie, but it's actually spelled Kelly.
Well played. Well played. So, Kelley Russo, your first con, right?
Yes.
All right. So tell folks, what'd you think about you know what? What did you expect coming into this? Having never gone to a con and never gone, obviously, to HeavyCon, what'd you expect?
Well, I expected a lot of boys. That happened. So
Shocker.
if you're a girl looking for, like a Match.com in person, this is somewhat a good place to come.
I love this. This is a take I haven't had yet. Okay, this
Although
is awesome.
Match.com did work out well for me after 2 years and his a week. So,
All right, there's that. All right.
there's that.
No, seriously. So what'd you expect about the con in general?
I honestly didn't have any real expectations. I've been to conferences in the past, but those were not game oriented. So I really, I expected a small, intimate type setting. Got that. That was nice.
Check.
Yep. I did expect a little bit more friendliness, outward facing group, but after being here for 5 days, it's very much of a very familial group.
Okay. Yeah.
So once you're in, you're very well loved. It's just heavy gamers aren't known for.
'Cause they got personality. No. Seriously, it's
you don't go to heavy gamers for a lot of conversation. You go for strategy. That's just not something I expect from heavy gamers, and that's something that you get. I also really enjoyed the conversations I did have, and once you're playing a game and you're involved with people and they start talking, it's great. But you're not going to a convention of extroverts. So you need to, that's something that, if you're expecting that, don't have that as an expectation. You need to be assertive for your first con. After you get to know people, they're like, hey, welcome. Once you know their face and they know yours, they're very friendly. But that's not going to be you're brand new. Hey, is she supposed to be here?
Right, well, which is kind of funny because when we were at the brewery, because it's a bunch of different tables at the brewery.
Wear your heavy cardboard stuff so they know you're in the group.
Because I was looking over at the table going, are they with us? I don't know. Could be just a couple that came to the brewery. I wasn't sure. And then once you were like, hey,
yeah,
you're Edward. Oh, okay, you are. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Because it was awkward for me because I was like, because we didn't have the entire brewery to ourselves.
Right,
so I was like, I really don't know. And then from that point, from the next day on, we haven't been able to shut you up, which is awesome, dude.
Just be assertive. I really have enjoyed almost every single person I've met here. Sometimes personalities don't mix,
sure,
but
no
everyone
doubt.
that I've interacted with has been friendly once you get to the table with them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I also loved that as one of the few women who interacted on Slack, I was known after I said my name. That was pretty cool.
No, exactly. Yeah, once you had a name tag, then oh yeah, hey Kelly, what's up? And that's Kelly, not Kelly. That was awkward. Anyway, moving on.
But I was unique, so that's okay.
There you go.
I
right?
like being special.
Unicorn. What was your favorite thing about the convention? Whether it was a game, interaction, experience, what?
I liked that it was very home-based. I know that sounds weird, but there was coffee, there was treats, there was tables where you could sit and relax, and there wasn't a dress code, but there was, the gamut of dress, and I felt like I could just come and be who I was, and there wasn't any pressure on that, but there was also coffee and drinks, and I could make my hot tea and be at home anytime I wanted.
That's awesome. That's something I hadn't heard. It's
I felt like I was at home because I could go make my hot cup of tea anytime I wanted.
Nice.
And that's what I like about gaming is I get to have my tea.
I dig that. Last year, the biggest complaint for the entire convention, no coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
There's coffee and tea all day now.
There was.
So,
it was fantastic.
Hey, we listen. We learn. It's a process,
It was great.
So cool. All right.
I really liked the players wanted and the teachers wanted signs that were on the tables. That was cool. That was very welcoming, too.
Good. Make you a lot more relaxed about it?
It was much more easy to approach a table when they were, advertising that they wanted you to come and join.
Okay, cool.
That was one really cool thing.
Favorite game?
Age of Steam.
Yes.
My one win of the week.
Nice. Which map did you play? Do you remember?
Heavy cardboard.
Yeah, well done. Hashtag checks in the mail. No.
How about the map in the mail?
Right. Or that. That's fine too. So, something you want to come back to? I
Absolutely.
feel like that's a totally loaded question because what are you going to do? You're going to sit here and be like, dude.
Well, you edit this, so I could say no. But I want to come back.
Okay, well, there's that. All right. Now I got to leave it in because now it almost sounds genuine. That's awesome.
I do want to come back.
I know.
As long as there's hot tea.
Okay, deal. I promise hot tea. Writing this down now. Hot tea for.
Well, now you're lying.
I'm like air writing it on the palm of my hand. Hey, it's radio. It makes for a good radio.
Okay.
Just work with it. Go with it.
Sorry.
Lean into the curve.
Leaning in.
There you go. All right. So you and your hubby are fixing to head back to Virginia, right?
Yes.
Cool. Game group back home?
Mm-hmm.
As far as they play heavier games?
We have a couple that play heavy games. Not the majority.
Okay.
But
so
we meet every Saturday, not every Saturday. We meet the first Saturday of every month.
Okay. So at least once a month, and then you get 4 days of all you can eat in the summer, i.e. here.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I
Blank
did not get
stare.
that.
That was awesome.
4 days, all I can eat. No.
Oh, what? Oh, brain fried. Age of Steam. Going home on a cloud. Yay.
Well, she just taught me QE. That's an auction-based game, not my things. Like, not my natural tendency, so.
Did you enjoy QE?
Of course, Beb was playing.
Oh, okay. Wow. There's that. And Bev
taught me every
hashtag
best teacher
excellent
ever.
Teacher, right? Yeah.
And
all
then I
right.
totally bombed QE, so hashtag was taken back. But
okay,
we still love her.
Hey, right. Hey, Meatloaf, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Yeah, go with it. I don't know.
What is meatloaf?
God,
Like
how
the
old
food?
are you? You're young. Wow, I feel old. All right, thanks. Bye. No, seriously. Thanks a
we're
lot for
still
coming.
on. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a safe trip home, and looking forward to having you guys back next year.
Absolutely.
Even if you are Redskins fans. So this might have been the most effort-filled, grabbing of somebody that I had to do. Kicking and screaming. No, I'm just kidding.
Like a little girl.
Right? Seriously.
Yeah.
So tell folks who you are, what, and all that.
Well, my name is Jared Davis. I am a male human.
Stop. No, it's your first year at HeavyCon.
Yes.
All right. So what did you think coming into it? What were your expectations at HeavyCon?
That's hard to say because honestly, this is my first con. I've never been to a board game con at all, ever. I didn't have any
lot of y'all that this is the case.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
I didn't have anything to compare it to.
Right.
And so I expected good things. Like I expected to, come and kind of be a little starstruck meeting some of the you guys obviously in person, and then also Yaroon, Uli, all the people from afar, and there's people I hear about all the time, right?
Right.
But seriously, and this is going to sound cliche, but it really feels like a family. Like, the best part of this is definitely the people. I've talked to so many of these people online before and I felt like I knew them online, but I had no idea what they looked like or anything like that. And, just seeing them in person was just, it's been amazing.
Well, we joked with you that you're not what we expected you to look like either.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty funny to where, obviously everybody that comes here knows what Amanda and I look like and what we're like and everything else. And we've had all these interactions online, but it's always cool that you have that baseline already. You kind of have already broken the ice in a sense that whether it's on Twitter, you stream on Caffeine, whether it's interacting with people there or in Slack or anything else like that it's you're not the first to mention kind of a family-like atmosphere. And I'm not saying it's family friendly, just less fist fights and less cussing at there's still a fair bit of cussing at one another, especially over the tables.
My virgin ears.
You're right.
I'm
from
Utah, so there's not I'm totally fine with that.
But what's been a highlight? What have you most enjoyed about the convention so far?
That's a hard one.
Or list a few things if you
Well,
can't
I
narrow
kind
it
of
down.
already covered the one about meeting people. Again, I think that's probably the top for me, is the meeting people I've interacted with before. Do you want like specific?
However you want to take that, man. Follow your heart.
So there have been a few games that I've been really wanting to try that I just haven't played before.
Right.
Such as like Container, and then there's been some others like Tokyo Metro that's coming out soon, and like getting the chance to play all these games that I one haven't ever played, and even two that are still in development, like played 1903
from the Texas guys, the TBG guys, right?
Yeah. Yep. And just it's been about the people, but I love that the games really facilitate the coming together and interaction of, everybody together. So I don't know that I could point to necessarily one. Oh, actually, first night I was here, I was kind of helping you guys set up some stuff.
Yeah.
And Jeroen came in, and there was an opportunity to play the Ur 1830 BC with Jeroen.
Yeah, a splatter game. Playing it with splatter or half of splatter.
And I apologize again for dropping out
Not
and
at all,
stopping
dude,
help.
Not at all.
I couldn't say no to that.
Well, I would have been upset had you said no to that. That's
awesome.
cool. And here's the thing. And you can speak to this, that Jeroen's just the dude. He's just a dork the rest of us.
He's great. He's hilarious.
He really is. He has that really, really dry sense of humor, but he's hysterical.
That's my kind of humor, so I really like him.
That works out. And I'm curious who won.
Let's see. It was me by a landslide, man. No,
obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely Jeroen.
Right, which is the SOP for pretty much anything he plays.
Yes.
Very cool, man. Good. All right. So hopefully we see you back next year.
Oh, easy. There's no question. I'll be back.
Good stuff, man. We'll travel home safe. In the meantime, enjoy some more games. And, actually, we're fixing to go play Hinkle and Stein with Clay, because I'm determined to get that man to reprint a damn box of rocks. Cannot wait.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
T-minus 3 hours, 45 minutes to go until HeavyCon comes to an end.
Yeah, wrapping out. Adrian, Mile High Game Guys.
So, what'd you think this year?
Again, amazing. One of the best cons that I have ever been a part of. Liera might have topped it for pure fun this year.
Well, come on now. It's LyriaCon. It's in Portugal versus Denver. Yeah, come on. Advantage Portugal.
Yes.
I can't fix that.
No.
But we have better mountains. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And better beer. Sorry, Portugal.
They win wine, though.
Yeah, they've got the wine. So, but no, again, second year that I've done this. Fantastic convention. I always have an absolute blast. There's no other convention where you can consistently, just on any given day, maybe do a pickup 18XX. Like, you want to do 18 Chesapeake? You want to do 1817? You want to do...
Yeah, I saw a couple. Actually, there were two pickup 1817 games.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And it's another convention. I got to play Tim Fowler's new prototype. I got to check out 2 new games from Clay over at Capstone. Like... Uli's demoing a couple games for Spielworks. It's another one of those conventions where you're sitting there and you're playing a game and you're already like, how is this my life? And then you look over and it's, somebody, and you're like, wow, I'm getting to play games and drink and hang out with these people. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed we haven't gotten Uli to sing again since LyriaCon, so there's that.
True. I was not here apparently Thursday night when he might have been in a singing mood.
Right, yeah.
And then he wouldn't get back in that mood the rest of the trip.
I think he realized, that's not enough. So there's not enough hours of sleep to be able to get to that point again.
100% correct.
That's awesome. So, highlights for you this year, man?
Well, so I think probably the highlight was the last game I played right here as I'm on my way out the door. We just wrapped up a game of 18 Chesapeake. Scott over at All Aboard Games, his new prototype. He's made 10 of them. And I was talking to Tony a little bit because Tony taught it. He didn't play. Did a fantastic job teaching, as Tony does. And if there's enough interest in this with these prototypes, Scott's hoping to do $60 18XX for 18 Chesapeake. It's a great intro. I preferred it over 89, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, I've played 89 once and a half. I've played Chesapeake now once, so I'm by no means like an expert in either.
Sure, yeah.
But I definitely preferred Chesapeake. It was so much fun. The map was tight, and it was close. I dug it. I dug it a lot. And if you can get that down to $60, I think it'll be a great intro to bring more people over into the XX side of the hobby.
Yeah, I see that as only a good thing.
Yep.
That's cool.
Benefits all around.
All right. So that was for Train Games. Any other highlights for other games?
Played two different days. I played Founders of Gloomhaven, which I hadn't got a chance to see yet, and very few people have.
The actual pre-production or like maybe it's an advanced copy.
I think he said that's an advanced copy. That's
copy.
Production
right,
level.
Cool.
Again, fantastic game. Like he is just absolutely
he being Isaac
Childress,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Killing it with Gloomhaven, which isn't super in my corner of things.
Same, right?
But
we played it, we tried it, and it's definitely well done.
Oh,
just not our cup of tea.
Yeah.
Whereas Founders of Gloomhaven,
oh man,
logistics, yes please.
Oh yeah, and good like tense logistics with blocking and getting, yeah. So that's been another like non-train game. That's probably been my highlight. And then I played Food Chain today, and that's my #1 game of all time. And so anytime I get to play Food Chain, it's a good day.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you and Megan, the missus, are heading home.
Yep. We just packed up all the games. We're gonna go get some dinner. We had breakfast. We skipped lunch because we went right from morning games into Chesapeake. So we're quite hungry, and we were debating. We're like, by the time we go get food and everything, we might as well just call this an early night, say our goodbyes, and roll on out. I think I'm going to be seeing Sid tomorrow for maybe some drinking and some games. Jess wants a tour of Epic, so she might come downtown, might do an afternoon tour of Epic. So still maybe some lingering
like
funtivities
stuff. Yeah. Nice. And that's one of the things that really kind of, I'm not saying other cons don't have that, but it's just, you make a week of it, right?
Other cons, like cons here in the U.S., it's in like Cleveland. Or no, it's in like Columbus, Indianapolis, the airport in Dallas. Like, this is in Denver. Like, we've got breweries, we've got things that are legal here that aren't legal at other cons.
And we have hiking available, which we did.
Beautiful sunny weather the whole weekend. Not too hot, not humid. Beautiful. It's fantastic.
Yeah, in other words, if you play heavy games, if you're listening to this, we welcome you to move here.
Yeah.
More gamers, all the better.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, man, I'll let you get to dinner. Tell Megan I said hey, and thanks for coming again, dude.
Hey,
this was a blast.
It's always a pleasure. Happy to, this is always on my yearly con list from here on out, no doubt about it. I live here, so it makes it easy for me to say.
Sure, right.
Yeah, and then it's always a pleasure being on the mic with you, so thanks for
appreciate
having me
it, bro.
again.
Thanks,
Take
man.
care. Later.
Vince, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell folks about you, and I'm always curious what you expected, because this is your, you know what? You tell folks. Go ahead.
Well, this is my first con, and I expected to play a lot of games, and that's what I did.
Okay.
I think it has been worth it. I did come quite a while to be here.
Did you? Where? It's just
it was
around
a
the
short
corner.
Flight. Yeah. I came from southern China, so the flight from Hong Kong was about 12 hours to come out here and play games, and I do it again.
Well, that's encouraging. That's always good to hear, man. So, what did you expect coming into this?
I expected. I'm not sure what I expected. I did expect there to be a ton of games being played. I didn't expect to have as much fun as I have been having. Every game that I've been in, I've just tried to just have a blast playing it, almost like irreverently. Container, I was shipping antiques, when we were playing Container, and just sort of having a good time. And it really was more than just the games. It was just, trying to, if I'm going to sit, for 4 or 5 hours and play a game with a bunch of people, I'm going to need more than just the game, and that's what I got, more than just games.
Nice. So this is your first convention, though, like a worldwide first time you've gone to anything like this?
First time I've gone to any board gaming convention.
What do you think? Something you want to do again? Like, and I'm not saying just HeavyCon. I'm saying conventions in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely do HeavyCon again, and I would definitely do conventions again. I think what I'm going to be doing is probably looking to see other conventions in my area. There are some conventions, a couple conventions in sort of the South Asia, China region. I know there's a couple in Guangzhou and Beijing, so I might check those out and see if I have the opportunity to do that. The opportunity to sit down for 3 or 4 weeks or 3 or 4 days. Oh God, it's not
that's
that
a
long.
long convention.
3 or 4 days and just play as many games as you can that's a good challenge to give yourself, and so I think I succeeded.
All right, good. Highlight of the convention for you? Is there anything that comes to mind that especially stands out, whether it's a game, interaction, or anything?
For me, I think it was meeting so many of the people that I interact with on social media, whether it's the Slack channel or Twitter, that have become kind of the community for me is always done, online. And so being a part of the community, coming and seeing the heavy cardboard herd and getting to play games with them. I played the first game of the convention was Lisboa with Sweater Mike. That was actually before the convention even started. It was you invited the people that came early to come out to HCHQ. We did it. Got to see behind the scenes. I think that was probably the highlight. The playing games with the people that I've interacted with a bunch, and then that visit to HCHQ is also the highlight there.
Well, that's awfully flattering. I'm glad to hear it, though, man. I'm glad you've had a good time, and that's the thing that people ask me, why do I stress about putting on the convention? And I'm like, people are coming sometimes from very, very far away, incurring quite a bit of expense, taking time off of work, taking time away from family, this and that. It better be worth it to them. So, yeah, I think that's the most important thing. I mean, if you're going to come all the way from China, why not have you over at the house? And if you're curious about the behind-the-scenes stuff, why not show that to people? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. My goal was, Heavy Cardboard started on Thursday, and I flew in on Tuesday. And the goal was just to be here and play games and meet all of these people. There's another herd member who lives in Taiwan that because we're on the same time zone, we interact. It's Chris Snyder. Him and I interact a lot on Slack and on Twitter. And to finally come out and play games with him is kind of cool. To have an opportunity to play a lot of games that don't get to the table as much as you want. Especially things like 18XX. It's funny, I was just out to to lunch with a couple of attendees, and we were talking about how a good portion of the games that we've been playing here at HeavyCon have been the games that are on our shelf at home that we haven't had a chance to play.
Oh, the old shelf of shame or shelf of opportunity, as it were, right?
Yeah, it's more just like we got those games for a reason because we thought they would be great. We thought we'd play them. And so to come to a place where everybody is so similarly aligned in like hey, you want a pickup game of Arkwright? That was the conversation I just had at lunch. And I don't think there's another convention where that's going to be the conversation that you have while you're eating a burrito. So
right. That's awesome, dude. Very cool. So when do you fly back to China?
I fly back to China on the 31st, so that would be Thursday. I'll spend another day in Colorado. A good friend of mine lives in Boulder. She just got her PhD, so I'm going to go spend a little time with her, and then I'll fly out on Tuesday. I'll fly to California. I couldn't have come all the way to Denver and spend 4 or 5 days gaming and not go back to California and spend at least 1 or 2 days with the family. So
I think that's probably a prudent choice.
Yeah,
sir.
I think 5 days with Heavy Cardboard, 2 days with Mom. I might get in trouble.
Yeah, I hopefully she doesn't listen to this. All right, sorry, Mrs. Alvarez. So there's that.
I think we're safe.
All right, good. All right, cool. All right, man, we'll go. I'll let you get back to it, and appreciate you taking a few minutes, man.
Absolutely. I need to get to this John Company game. So
nice.
It'll be the first time I play John Company of the con, and I'm looking forward to it. So
cool. All right, thanks for coming, dude.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
For sure. What's up, Rand?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. Day 4, HeavyCon. So tell folks who and what, and you talk. They hear from me all the time.
All right, so I'm Rand Lemley. I'm one of the patrons of Heavy Cardboard, and this is my first time at HeavyCon coming out from Boston.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Now, I feel like it's going to be a biased thing because I'm sitting next to you. You're not going to be like...
That's about how I felt the whole time.
Right, yeah. No, it was terrible. I hated it. No, seriously. Tell folks what your experience was here.
Well, I just got to say, living on 3 hours of sleep is the best.
Lots of fun, for sure.
It's been a great crowd here. Everybody's family. We're just playing games, and when we're not playing games, we're talking about them, and when we're not talking about them, we're playing more of them.
Or drinking scotch.
Maybe a little bit. A little bit.
So what's
sharing is caring, right?
For sure, right? I think the value of the scotch that was brought to HeavyCon rivals the value of the board games that are here in the library between everybody.
Yeah, the amount of money that was spent on a single order, I'm embarrassed to say it was over $1,000.
Hey, drink what you dig, right? So what did you expect coming in? I'm curious because with this being your first year, obviously you've heard about everything, and there was a reason you wanted to come to begin with. But what was it? Yeah, what?
So I game because I like interacting with people, and board games are my medium for doing that. And this is what I came here for, is interacting with people around games, and that's exactly what I found, man. The people here are just so warm. You meet everybody, too, from other patrons, people in the area, to designers, publishers. Everybody just hanging out, having a good time, genuine people. It's great.
And playing games that we all love.
Most people.
Yeah.
Play what you dig, right?
Right, for sure. Walking around the room, I stopped by a table, some folks playing TKR, Three Kingdoms Redux. I was like, man, it's such a great game. And Scotty Bedell was on the table next to me, and he looks at me, leans back, and kind of turns and says, I think you could objectively say that about just about every game that is here on every table the entire 4 days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I walked in day one at 8:30 in the morning. There were 8 18XX games being played. The next day, a game of Here I Stand and Virgin Queen right next to each other. But I've found my own table and created my own table with James Nathan, and we've called it the Asian Collection.
It is amazing the obscurity of games that you guys have, and we had a blast playing dice fishing. One from Smooks over at TBG or TBD, Taiwan Board Game Design Group. He sent that as one of the giveaways, and you traded an obnoxious quality of game for that little small box game.
Yeah, so part of the HeavyCon experience is receiving the swag bag, and in the swag bag there's a little bit of a giveaway, and there's a little voucher inside with a title of a game, maybe something else on it, and I pulled out mine and I saw Founders of Gloomhaven. And now I run a non-gamer group back home in Boston, and Founders of Gloomhaven is not going to get played at that game group. But I love weird games.
Esoteric.
I don't care where they come from. I just like weird games. And a game with dice and fishing, all about it. So I was sitting and playing a game, and the guy across from me, we wear these vouchers in our badge holders so that everybody can see what we've got available for trade. And he had dice fishing. So I offered.
And he accepted.
Founders of Gloomhaven? Yes.
All right.
Sweet. dice fishing.
Done. So we played that, and you came over and explained. How did you describe the game to us? This is hysterical to me.
So I got this game, and it's dice fishing, right? D'Angler. And you've got these dice in your hand, and they play as different fishing rods, and they have cooldowns, and there's bears.
Because fishing.
With prime numbers.
So
you have to roll prime numbers. Come on, that's great.
So yeah, it's either 5 or 6 6-sided dice, a 10-sided die, and a 20-sided die. All represent different fishing poles. You roll the die, or you bid. It's a blind bid on how many you're trying to catch. Really obscure, like there's goldfish all the way up to sturgeon to salmon.
Yeah, Japanese horse swordfish. I don't know. There's lots of different stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things you can catch is a bear, and when you catch it, there are usually some kind of qualifier that you have to fish for. So you need a 1, 3, and a 5. You have to roll, and the total has to be at least, say, 13. So you bid how many dice do you think it's going to take, and you can use some of the weird dice, the 10-sided, 20-sided, for re-rolls if you want, or for the value. And, dude, the amount of enjoyment that was had playing that game, I would say rivals just about anything else that I saw going on at HeavyCon. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, I love these weird games because they create weird social interactions. And you're not going to be sitting over the table in the typical heavy cardboard pose, but you're going to have a grin from ear to ear and be slapping people around and just having a good time. And then after, get back to the pose.
Right. So, is it what you expected, though, overall, would you say?
The con? Absolutely. And above and beyond it. I mean, I've met people here that I didn't think that I would meet. So, I mean, Jeroen Duman, awesome guy. He's always thinking about his moves and making dry, witty jokes in the middle. He's one of the best opponents.
His sense of humor, and he doesn't look like he looks very serious. Jeroen does.
Oh,
but
yeah.
dude, he'll crack out just with a random joke and deadpan it too. Just totally deadpan. Hysterical. And if you beat Jeroen in a game, you can wear that with a badge of honor.
Oh, absolutely.
Because dude doesn't lose many games.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you. I know that a couple years ago, Amanda beat him at BGG-Con at Southern Railways, Southern Railroads, Winsome, and she has not shut up about it in I think 3 years. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have played 18xx with him over the weekend, and second place is about as best as they're going to get.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch him play. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So cool, man. All right. So what else you got going on today?
Today, I'll probably get back to some of the Asian collection. I'm watching some cool prototypes being played. Uli's got Thrones of Allegoria over on the table. Just curious to see what that's all about.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you made it out. And,
yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I guess I'll see you back in Boston then sometime sooner rather than later.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
All right, later. It's 1:50 in the morning on Monday morning. HeavyCon has ended 2 hours ago, or in theory, but we couldn't end this without doing it right?
Absolutely.
So, who are you?
This is James Nathan again.
And by James Nathan, you mean?
The Stance.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So, just finished Time's Up.
Yes, twice. 2 1/3 times.
And favorite clue?
Personally, I like me impersonating the board game Saturn.
Whoa, describe it for folks.
So Saturn, who's the publisher? I forget.
Theta Games.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Where there's a sphere in the middle and there's some orbits and you put little planets on it and it kind of like wobbles around depending on where you added pieces. So I thought I could somehow properly imitate that by pretending to set things on myself, and it didn't work. So I aborted and I decided to try to orbit the room by running around. which also did not work. So probably that one.
First HeavyCon.
Yes.
Thoughts?
It's great. I'm you're gonna get an elaboration. Like it's not a one-word answer. I'm a fan of playing cons over buying cons, right? It's me. So rather than getting a one-word answer, you're gonna get an elaborate, unrelated story, and then we'll get around to how it's applicable. So I have this friend who was under a lot of pressure at her job, but was valuable to them, and she said, "This is too much stress. I'm leaving for 2 months, and you can hold my job or not, but I'm leaving for 2 months." And she sold her house and all her things and moved to Morocco.
As you do.
As you do. Apparently it's pretty cheap. And she just studied Arabic and lived with this family in their hostel and whatever. And she said so when she moved back, she moved in with her parents for a little bit and then with a friend and seems super happy now, And she said that her plan was to look at her budget and figure out how to spend more money on what she actually got a lot of happiness out of, right? So I don't know that I get that much happiness out of buying board games, but I do get a lot out of playing them with people, right? So I'm working on revising our budget to spend more time going to cons, and to me that's not about buying it, it's about playing things, right? And so a con like this that is 150-ish people, right, where we can go on a hike and we can drive 90 minutes into the mountains and we can get to know people on the way there, at breakfast there, driving back, right? Then we go to the pub. You see somebody walk in with a game that you are super excited to play that isn't the HeavyCon niche, and you say, "Hey, you must be Rand," and then it turns out, and wait, none of you know this story, and then it turns out it's not. but just by a total quirk of like what time we showed up and where there was an empty seat, right? He was with that group. It just wasn't the person who I had thought it was. So and then the dinner, right? Getting to sit with people, and that's not like that's a thing that happens at, let's say, Gen Con, right?
Right.
I mean,
sure.
Granted, you have your meetup, but it's
Sure,
not like
right, yeah,
it's not like you can have a 30,000 people dinner, right?
That would be a really big dinner.
So the amount of non-gaming getting to know each other and stuff, right? So it's just wonderful. Is that a better answer than it was good?
I like that a little
Okay,
bit
I
more.
thought
Yeah. So speaking of Rand, you two birds of a feather.
Yeah, turns out.
Who knew?
Yeah, no, it's been funny. We've been playing games most of the time together, and everybody we play with says, "Where are you guys from?" and how long have you known each other, and we look at each other and say Wednesday, and so it's yeah, and and I meant to take a survey. My grandmother died recently, and so my father is cleaning out his attic, and he likes to go through and clean things out whenever one of my grandparents dies, essentially to save us the trouble of having to throw out all of his hoarding of things when he dies, right? And he saves a lot of things, and he texts me a lot of pictures of things that he saves, and one of them was this letter I had written to my grandmother when I was, let's say, second grade, and it was almost all numbers, right? It was like, I have this many baseball cards, and I have like this many whatever, and it was just it was just like a string of numbers. Like, it was such a weird letter to have written your grandmother, right? But it explains a lot. And so the other day I had this feeling that I wanted to, every hour, go around, count how many tables and how many were like, these people are playing 18XX, right? We have 23 active tables of gaming and X% of them, right? And I was going to go around at 9 and 10 and 11 and 12, because I thought that would be super interesting to know, right? I was texting.
Now I'm disappointed you didn't do this. Okay.
I was texting with a friend today, and he was, various social media things, looking at what I've been playing, and he was like, I'm surprised, like, there doesn't seem to be that much heavy stuff getting played. And I was like, no, like, there's 20-something tables, and probably 70-60% of them are 18xx. It's just not at the table that Rand and I are playing at. What was the question?
Dice fishing. That was the question.
What about it?
No, how'd you like it? How'd you hear about it, first off?
Okay. So I follow a lot of random people on Twitter from Japan.
Who doesn't?
Largely to find out about new things early, right? And so just seeing pictures from Tokyo Game Fair and knowing it was a Smooks game and it had a nice cover and whatever. I mean, I didn't know much more about it than that.
Ended up bears and prime numbers.
Ended up bears and prime numbers.
That's all you need to know, right?
Absolutely.
So, highlight of the con for you, other than time's up.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm probably going to say Combat Commander, as much as probably that's not the answer anyone's expecting.
Why is that?
It was great. I mean, so first off, the answer is obviously meeting people, right? Jason Tinger is incredible. Tom Russell is incredible, right? But the Combat Commander game was great, right? I don't remember his name right now.
Brian Olmstead.
Thank you.
That's all he played.
That's all he does, right?
I think that's all he played the entire con.
And it's a game that I tried to play in the past with a buddy, and whatever, we played it fine, but you lose some amount of what it can be when you have to constantly check the rules and check charts and tables, and his ability to just like run the game, you know, not that he's not playing, but sort of DM the game, makes it so almost like cinematic, right? You know, it's not not that there's dice rolling, but you know, there's more random events and things than generally a game that would be in my niche. But it just feels like you're playing a movie when he's like running the game with you, like the things that happen, you know? And it was just a great experience. Like it felt so fulfilling, right? Right? Like this Past Alley game we've been playing, right? So it's a new analog lunchbox game. It's called Past Alley. We've been calling it 18PT. It's there's a grid of I don't know what the grid is. It's maybe like 8x8. This is another new Tokyo Game Fair tile from a couple weekends ago. And you have a little chit on opposite sides of the board, and you need to trace paths to connect it. And you're laying these tiles on there, and it, like Suro or one of those other games where there's paths going all over. And your goal is to lay tiles and have the paths connect your pieces, right? And the game, I love the game. It's great. I like the mental processes that it exercises. It has downtime issues, but that was perfect for this because you could go to the bathroom and refill your water and talk to people that were hanging around and whatever, right? So I really like that game, but like I'm playing a game, and I play a lot of games, but like Combat Commander like was somehow satiating in a way that other games aren't, even games I love. You know, it was like I enjoy games that are work, right? And sometimes you feel exhausted afterwards. And it was almost like I felt refreshed even though I should have been exhausted because like the drama and the narrative and the swings of who was going to win was outstanding.
So is this something you're going to play more of, or is it
No.
it's the specific experience with with Brian?
Yeah,
yeah.
I absolutely would play with Brian again. You know, there just wasn't enough time for everything you want to play.
So I'm curious, what made you want to play that then? Because you couldn't have known that experience was coming.
No, but you know, there's a lot of games I like in theory. Sometimes I don't like them in practice, and we played some of those as well. And I mean, you know, something I had played before and enjoyed. It's something I think that theoretically I would like. Not that I know what I actually like, but in theory, I thought I would like it.
All right. How about next year you run a not hot games table at HeavyCon?
I think we did. So when I decided to come, I searched through the guild for games that I wanted to play that I thought I would never have a chance to play. And there were two that were owned by anyone in the guild. And one of them was a game called Packin' Veers. It is a 1992 release from Karl-Heinz Schmiel. It is a competitive but like rotating partnership game about moving furniture into an apartment. and you're lifting up this plastic dollhouse furniture and setting it on the bottom of the box, and then sometimes having to separate furniture from each other, and you're doing it with cardboard sticks, the one that you're holding and one that your partner's holding. So Larry from California was kind enough to say sure, and he brought it and we played it, and it's been played quite a few times since then. The games Rand had come in at the last minute on Saturday to the hotel are kind of the same thing. Games we knew about, but that are pretty not hot. COG, which KOGGE from Andreas Stedding, which you brought, was in the not hot games room at BGGCon last year, and we didn't play it. But after playing it here, 2 people I played it with later taught it and played it with other groups. I in a drawer in a desk at home, I have a pile of foreign currency that I bought off eBay for super cheap because it's devalued Venezuelan bolivars or whatever, right? So I like to keep a bunch in my pocket because whatever, it's fun to spread whimsy and leave it as tips places and whatever. And so at some point like that, I just was a rotating not hot games room spreading like whimsy that I don't know, apparently was appreciated.
Absolutely it was, dude. There's a reason that Not Hot Games Room was as popular as it was at BGGCon, and then after...
Hold on. To be clear, you showed up.
There were like 12 of us.
2 people in my regular group, and 1 guy who brought 9 people with him because he convinced them to come. So really, 4 of you came, and 2 people play with me every week. So 2 people came by my math.
But after you and I talked about it at BGGCon, a lot of people were excited to have you here and see what you were going to come up with.
Yeah.
So I think it's catching on.
Good.
And I think that kind of goes back to what we had talked about, and we've talked about a lot, both throughout the day today and just in general regarding just this hobby in general, that the games are the conduit.
Yeah, absolutely. I gave him a shrug. I didn't have anything else to say.
All right. So is it something you want to come back to?
I believe it is on the list. So I mapped out roughly things I would plan on attending next year, and I believe it was currently on the list.
Well, I'm flattered.
I know, right? Like I just said I was going to try to go to more, and then I'm like, it was great, but I might come back. No, I have every intention of coming back.
Good. I hope so. And is the missus, Jessica, coming? Go visit the Arsenal again?
I don't know. I'll have to talk to her.
Okay.
So my wife accompanied me on this trip as a way to save jet fuel on the way to California to visit some family, and so stopped in with me for a couple of days. But I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming out, man.
Of course.
So what's on the schedule for the rest of the year for you?
Not much. The plan mostly triggers next year. BGGCon, and probably that's it.
Okay. Then I'll see you there.
Okay.
Cool. So, it's interesting. We actually, for the first time ever, have a crowd around us watching us record this. No pressure or anything, but it's 5 after 2. Go get some sleep, people. That's a wrap for HeavyCon, I think. All right? So thanks, everybody, for coming.
You.
Thanks, James, for hanging out. And thanks for Time's Up because, dude, there are few joys in my life that I get that equal the joy that I get watching you play Time's Up. So if nothing else, that topped off my HeavyCon.
Good.
So thanks for that, man.
Of course. Anytime.
All right. And that's a wrap.
Yep.
For HeavyCon 2018.
Yes, sir.
If I sound tired, it's because I'm tired.
Yes, there's a reason.
Yeah, it's been a long 5 days, but I think it went really, really well overall.
Yeah, I do too. Everybody that came up and said anything to me had nothing but raves and thank yous, and they had a lot of fun. So I know we did. So.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yes.
I mean, granted, it's kind of a loaded thing. Like the interviews that I did yesterday were really, really hard to ask. Like, how do you not ask loaded questions when they're sitting with you at your convention? I think maybe next year what I'll do is I'm just going to have one big long audio file, and periodically save it and just be like, here, anybody who wants to can come up, hit record, and talk.
I like that.
That way we're not sitting there.
Yeah.
And they're not influenced by that. Or although I don't think anybody was, but I think we might try that.
You're going to worry that they are no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks everybody who came. That was an amazing time.
Yes, it was.
Next year, looks like the hotel might be changing, but other than that, the feel and for what it is, HeavyCon is pretty much set. That's what it is.
Yep.
And is it possible there might be an expansion as far as to a separate second HeavyCon? That's possible, but to be determined on that. I would say it's now time to rest and recuperate from that. However,
it is not for you. It is for me, but it is not for you.
Yeah, because in 22 and a half hours from right now, I will be airborne on my way to Athro.
Yes.
To meet up for the UK Games Expo. Jess and I are flying out there on Thursday. This is pretty cool. Our buddy Richard Klein is taking us to Francis Tresham's house to pick up Francis, and the original plan was to take him to the UK Games Expo. Now, however, it's to take him to a local pub and have the interview there to set everything up there. So I'd be lying if I didn't say I was super nervous about that, because I am. But a lot of good questions have been asked, both that I've come up with as well as what all y'all listeners have come up with and viewers as well. So looking forward to that. I'm excited but super nervous because this is kind of the pinnacle for me for interviews. So there's that. Also going to be interviewing Simon Cupforth on, I think it's Friday, the designer of the 2016 Golden Elephant Award, 1822 Railways of Great Britain, and Martin Wallace I'm supposed to be interviewing at some point during the UK Games Expo as well. There are two other things happening at the UK Games Expo that I would recommend or ask folks to come check out and hang out with. Well, with me and others. Friday night at 9 p.m. in the Toot Suite at the NEC, which is where the UK Games Expo takes place. I'm going to be doing co-hosting a live podcast recording with Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules, Tom from Slicker Drips, and Matt from Creaking Shelves. That should be a lot of fun, and that's actually going to become an episode in a subsequent week following the recording of that. So looking forward to that. So Friday night, 9 p.m. That's going to be, I think, about an hour. Then after that, we're going to go hang out and go eat and maybe end up at a gin bar somewhere. I'm excited about it. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully y'all come hang out then. And then on Sunday, and I think you know what? Check the schedule at the UK Games Expo. There is a charity auction, which Paul Grogan has asked me to co-host as well on Sunday afternoon or whatever that I'm going to be doing with him. So come by, check that out. Plus, it's a chance to get some really cool swag. So looking forward to doing that as well.
Okay.
Then after that, we fly to Copenhagen, pick up a car for a few days. We're going to be gaming at various FLGSs in northern mainland Europe and doing all that because, well, Friday, June 8th.
That's your birthday.
It certainly is. We're going to be in Vaxio, Sweden, where we meet up with Space Monkey, or as his parents probably call him, Matthias, for the Heavy Cardboard Game Day Around the World contest winner. We're going to have a meetup at a local watering hole on Friday night before enjoying a full day of gaming on Saturday. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to set up our equipment, record some stuff while we're there on Saturday, and I mean, it's our first Heavy Cardboard Game Day Around the World.
Yes, and I'm not going to be there.
That sucks.
It
I wish you were.
sucks so bad.
Hopefully next year.
Fingers crossed.
A few days after that, we fly out of Copenhagen and head to Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio, and the glory that is the North Markets. Early and often, I will be eating there. Yes, for sure.
You can eat for me.
Yeah, I promise I will.
Okay.
Clay over at Capstone Games is going to be hosting us at his booth again, so be sure to stop by, say hi. And after hours, we're going to be looking to play games with folks, eat some really good food. So definitely, let's definitely plan on playing something, hopefully. I'm going to be hosting a meetup at Origins on Saturday night at 7 p.m. at Barley's, which is right across the street from the convention center. So come hang out, have a drink, have a Coke, have a water, whatever. Just come and hang out, and that should be a relaxing, enjoyable time. And it'll be the ceremonial end of the trip.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. Not the end of the trip, but you know what I mean, hanging out with folks and everything.
Right.
And I know that Adrian from Mile High Game Guys, he's going to be there. So he'll be hanging with us as well. So come check it out.
Yes.
So there are two last things that normally we don't do a whole lot of like end episode stuff.
Yeah, this isn't really a normal episode though.
Right, fair point. So there are two last things that we wanted to bring up, both really personal stuff. So yeah.
We just wanted to say thank you to everyone for all the kind words of support and encouragement after our episode 2 weeks ago. So onward and upward, right?
Yep. Yeah, seriously. Thanks, everybody. It's been unanimous. Everybody, at least, that's reached out has been very supportive, very understanding. And I don't know. Everyone said it was kind of a big deal, the fact that we took the time to explain everything publicly, I guess. But I also, it's just the way we run the show. It's just the way we've chosen to do things, is to be very transparent, be very open. Now, obviously, there is a line, at some point there's got to be some private life kept. But I think on a high level of stuff, I think what we did was both appropriate and reasonable, right?
I think so.
So if there's anybody that wants to reach out, has any questions or whatever, we'll answer them up to a point where we're comfortable answering them.
Yep, that's
But
correct.
yeah, thanks everybody. That was really, really cool.
Yes, it was.
Lastly, I got a geek mail on Thursday, the beginning of HeavyCon, that was moving, I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And when I read this, I was brought to tears a bit. And then we had a meeting with the small council dinner later on Thursday night, and I shared it with everybody there as well as with you.
Correct.
And I asked the author of the Geek Mail if I could share it with y'all, because I think this kind of exemplifies everything that this show and everything around this show is based on. And that it's less about the games and more about the people, at least from our standpoint.
Yeah.
So that said, the only thing I was asked is leave last names and such out. So here we go. So, Edward, seeing your Twitter coverage of HeavyCon reminds me of something I wanted to tell you. A little over 2 years ago, my friend Bill, who was part of my game group, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Bill died 2 months ago. Bill was a very enthusiastic lifelong gamer, and he devoted a lot of spare time that he didn't give to his family to board gaming. He was a gifted high school teacher, but for the past 2 years, as he endured chemo and other experimental therapy, he was able to do very little teaching. Although his friends and colleagues really rallied around him, Bill was forced, by necessity, to spend a lot of time during the day reading and doing board game-related activities, learning new games, and soloing. When we got together for our group gaming sessions, especially when he was teaching us a new game, he would often refer to your show and refer to you and Amanda by your first names. The last time we spoke, he spoke at length telling me about Castell, a new game he was ordering on the strength of your video. That show gave him the chance to talk about his love of gaming instead of his latest treatments. We were looking forward to exploring the game together. It was evident that he spent a great deal of time watching your playthroughs and getting tremendous enjoyment from them. You brought great pleasure into his life during some dark days. So on behalf of Bill and others whose lives you've affected in perhaps unexpected ways, thank you, Tom. When people ask us, what is your favorite thing or favorite part or favorite whatever about running the show, whether it's the podcast or the YouTube channel, it's hard to not automatically go to the fact that even though I sometimes joke and sometimes say some self-depreciating stuff like it's crazy that people care as much as they do about a stupid podcast or YouTube channel about board games. But it's stuff like this, the fact that having impact on people's lives in a real way that matters. That right there is what the best thing and the biggest thing and the most important thing about doing the show is, because it's stuff like this that really hits home, that maybe it's not just a stupid little podcast and YouTube channel. Maybe it helps folks in other ways, even though it is in the end just board games.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, not to end on a downer, but I thought that was, with HeavyCon and everything having come and gone, I feel like that was a poignant and timely thing to share with y'all, especially the timing of which it was sent. So thank you to Tom. Our sincerest condolences to Bill's family, and yeah, just makes you appreciate the little things in life. And you know what? Makes me appreciate the fact that, you know what? Yeah, it's a lot of travel, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that, but pretty amazing. This hobby, this community, and the people in it. So thanks for letting me do what it is that I do.
And I don't know what to say.
And thanks for allowing us to do what it is that we do. So thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everybody watching over on YouTube. And yeah, remember to appreciate the little things in life. All right, you guys take care. You'll hear from me on the road. You'll hear from Amanda in the meantime.
Yep.
And yeah, you'll see a whole lot of them.
See a whole lot of me.
Yeah, while I'm on the road. So take care, everybody.